few vocabulary terms that I'd like to review with you looking at an actual loom. So you can see here we've got the wooden framework. That is considered a loom. Looms can be a variety of different sizes, from little mini looms to giant looms that create yards of fabric or rugs. You'll see that there are a couple other terms that we talked about when we looked at vocabulary. The warp threads are here, and these are the ones that are attached to the loom. And then the weft is the yarn that goes over and under the warp threads in a pattern. And actually the pattern can vary depending on the design that you're doing. This is a weaving needle, although you'll see on your project that a needle is not always necessary. These are the materials that you'll need for this weaving project. They can be found in the brown bag that you were given before we transitioned to remote learning. Here is the rubric. You can find some information about basket weaving as well as the goals for the project. On the back are a couple of questions that you'll be answering at the end of the project. The first step in this weaving project is to prepare this cup to be a loom. And so we need to create what could be like the warp threads. You're going to place the cup upside down on this circle, and wherever you see a line, you are going to mark that on the cup. The next step is to use your scissors to cut vertically up from each one of those dots that you marked. To begin your weaving, you're going to put your name and class code on the bottom. And you're going to notice as we are weaving that this is similar to the radial weavings that you did in second grade, meaning that the weaving goes around and around in a circle. The first step is to pick one of the colors that's been provided, and you're going to go on one of these warp, I guess I could call them a thread, and you're going to take your yarn and we're going to tie a knot like you would on your shoelaces. All right, once that is anchored in place, we're going to be following a simple pattern of over, under, over, under. If you'd like, you could rotate this to the inside so that your string and your knot are on the inside rather than the outside of your cup. You could also just let it stay there and we could tuck it under afterward. Okay, so I'm going to go over this first thread, under the next. Push it down, over, under, over, under. And I am just going to continue this process many times over. When I get to the end of the yarn, I will simply attach the end of the blue to the beginning of the next color. Step on your basket is to tie a knot on the last warp or section. You may need some help with that from a mom or a dad, and then you're going to cut these little ends off. Now you may have noticed that weaving does take some time, but the results are really beautiful. So I have this nice little basket. If you have edges where knots hang out, those can be pushed underneath, even with like a little pencil or something, just shoved underneath there. But I've got a really nice pattern and contrast of textures. You can see this one has complementary colors, orange plus blue, and then a neutral, so it has a really nice contrast. All right, this is your weaving project. I hope you enjoy making it.